Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Trainwise platform on Saturday, June 13th, 2020. And today we are sidestepping because it is Sidestep Saturday. So very much like my Takeoff Thursday, it's all about just sidestepping away from the daily focus in order to just step back, breathe, get some oxygen in. When the oxygen comes, you've got much more air. The air is ambient. That ambient air can help you focus a little bit more because you'll have much more to see with new, fresh oxygen inside. So, what is this all about? What did I say? I said, be yourself. Behave. It's about creating yourself. And here is what hopefully I am talking about, and for you to understand that yes, you are on the Trainwise platform, and yes, I am a nutritional coach. So how does that marry? Well, don't forget, this is Sidestep Saturday, and I always take a little bit of a reflection day to make a little point that if we focus just too much on that one maniacal thing, then we're just going to lose out on all of the greatness that we are missing in the process. And that is a little bit of the depth. That can get a little bit too deep. However, on a psychological level and a philosophical level, I invite that always. Because hopefully you will understand now that my outcome is all about the income. And with the income, you can actually express that motion towards the outcome. And how do you want your outcome? You want your outcome optimal. Hey, George, good morning. Hang about, I just pressed you, sorry. Good morning, how are you? Right, so being yourself. Okay, so you're in a place, right, where you're struggling just a little bit. And then you picture that place wherever you are now. So I've got so many examples right now. So it could be work related, it could be relationship related, but let's look at it as nutritionally related, right? In that you want to become more healthier. However, your daily life does not dictate change. So you're going to find it very difficult to change. So the idea would be just be yourself. Everything will be fine. No, it won't be. You have to develop yourself. So what I'm doing now is kind of expressing this opinion, because this is my platform and I can do that, on some unfiltered identity. And that's what you are. You've got that unfiltered identity. And when you run a business, and I presume it's the same for basically everyone in life that has a certain role, I'm just using that business element, where you've got this cloud looming, and it's the self-doubt cloud. And every once in a while, that cloud will say to you, you're not worth it. But you are worth it. So what we need to do is filter that unfiltered identity and project it better to your world. And how do we do that? Well, by starters, we don't just be ourselves. Because how far has that got you? So ask yourself the question now, by being yourself, has it got you where you need to be right now? If the answer is yes, then the only reason why you're watching this is because you like what I deliver. That's it. You just like the way my hair is just messed up, or you might be a family member, or you might think that he might say something right now, but it's not on my level. Whatever it is. You might even be interested in nutrition, which is mainly why you're on here. Whatever the point is, if you're happy to where you are at right now, you have won your game. And if you do believe that I've got more to give, then please keep on listening. Because, like I said, I'm going to give you some unconventional wisdom. Now, that unconventional wisdom comes from the paradox of by being yourself, you can be whoever you need to be. But you just can't rely on the fact that your truth is be myself. I'll be myself. Because how far has that got you? So let's get into the productivity of what I'm talking about. When you were born, you were put into an environment, and through nurturing, through growing up, through being that dependent, you became the product of your environment. Please forgive the noise. Got the washing machine on. Right. So whenever you're in your circle of friendship, whenever you are in your work environment, whenever you are in your peers, whatever you are doing in your field of play, you are in an environment, and then you become that product of environment, and then your truths can become a real fundamental part of moving forward or projecting great ideas for that environment going forward. But for you to develop a little bit more, there's a little bit more you have to understand about being yourself. Take a little bit from many to become yourself. Now, I'm going to quote you something, right? And it's from a singer. And the singer is KatyPerry. And this is very, very random. It's just that I come across the quote and it sparked off that thought. And she said, be yourself and be anything. So be yourself and be anything. So that's a major paradox, right? Hey, oh, you're in as well. I've got the washing machine on. Right. Okay, so thanks for throwing me completely off. Right. Be yourself and be anything. That is what KatyPerry said. Now that massive paradox, because yes, you are being yourself. So how could you create someone else? Like that's the anything. How can you create someone else if you want to be yourself? That can't be done. So what you do, you take from many others to become yourself. Now, jumping on to another example that hopefully you can now resonate with. And because I'm a nutritional coach, a recipe book, right? So you want to cook a meal, and it's a meal that you've never cooked before. So you've got to find a recipe of that particular meal. So you go in, you find that book, you find the recipe, and then you follow that recipe, and then you cook a meal, right? And you're cooking that meal, and then you start cooking that meal without the book no more, and then you actually start cooking that particular meal for all your friends, all your family, and they start saying, how do you do that? That's wonderful. And then you start teaching them, but you don't give reciprocity. You don't say, yeah, I read it from a book. Well, you might do, and that's honorable. That's authentic. That's accountable. That's brilliant, and that's what we should do, because we should share. However, normally when we get an instruction, we forget where that instruction comes from, but that has now turned us into another person. So by being ourselves and taking from others, we have now developed ourselves. So it's not always just about being yourself. It's about finding the identity of that unfiltered self, so that you can filter it out, so that you can give that conventional wisdom coming from the unconventional wisdom. So remember that author, the chef. So she or he just grinded down, beat on her craft or his craft, probably about 100 times before that actual recipe became a real recipe. And because of that, it made you into a better chef, a better cook. So you could cook something, right? So you took something from someone else and developed it yourself. So your consumerism became that creativity. And that's what you need in order for you to go forward. So in the next time that you are kind of feeling blah, or you're feeling a little bit down, and then someone says to you, listen, don't worry, be yourself. No, don't be yourself. Create yourself. Get your understandings and get that instruction manual embedded within. So kind of focus on it. Be generous out of habit. So that's something that you can only get with that intrinsic value, to become generous out of habit. Don't become generous because someone has just told you to become generous. It's about you finding out yourself, your self-worth. And that's how you become that generous person. So there's a lot of overlap. There is a hell of a lot of overlap when it comes to self-development and being yourself and moving forward, projecting that worth. A lot of overlap. And you'll hear a lot of people talk about the same thing, but in a different way. Much the same that what I'm doing. So what platform have I got to actually be speaking like this? Because of the nutritional coaching platform. And I've just given you a recipe example, which hopefully would filter your mind in thinking, right, that dude is all about food, right? Okay, I get that. He knows how or what goes in can actually help perform optimally out, hopefully, if you understand what we're saying. So with that being said, a self-examination is always necessary for self-development whenever you feel that being yourself is enough. You are enough, of course. However, we always can be more, and we always want to be more. And the reason why I'm coming on this platform and saying that is because it is Sidestep Saturday. So I don't go to my normal narrative, which is about that nutritional narrative, that fitness narrative. I go onto the mindset because my business is based on making that mind good so that the body becomes better. It's a simple equation. And I've got something else for that as well, which will help you in your be yourself analogy and development. You know your gut? Your gut is your intrinsic value. Your gut is what you feel should be made. It should be made right. So you get that feeling, you know when they say the gut feeling and then it connects to the brain? The reason why is because you've got that intuitive gut feeling, the gut reaction. Now with that, you put your hand on your heart. Your heart is the reassurance. If your heart feels right, like it's doing you a good service, like it's saying, yeah, I agree with your gut, because your hand's on your heart and you're touching, you're feeling. So that kinetic energy is going through already. So you've channeled that energy round. So then what happens after that is that agreement, that reassurance of the heart, it then goes to the mind. And then that mind is your conscious decision maker. So in the beginning, it started with an unconscious understanding. So that unfiltered identity. And then through that unfiltered identity, you self-examined. How did you self-examine? By holding your heart. And your heart gave you that reassurance. And by giving you that reassurance, it gave you that unconventional wisdom to be put in towards that mind. And then, bang, production. And that's the way it works. So next time you hear someone saying, just be yourself, don't challenge that. Be a lot of others to become yourself. Create yourself. Hopefully that was of worth. Hopefully that was of value. I can't see myself because the reflection is so dim. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And if you do like this, there's a heart that gives really good reach. There's a smiley face that gives excellent reach, because if you're happy about getting on board and consuming someone's content, then that'll be great. And alongside with that, the last thing is the share. If you share with a happy face and a heart, wow, it's going to go a long way. So hopefully your Sidestep Saturday will carry on sidestepping. And I am out.